Hello everybody, I hope everybody is doing well. Today's topic of conversation is why merchandisers are called the heart of a fashion design business organization. I hope if you have seen my previous video, which is about what are the factors that makes a fashion business fail, you must have seen Professor Bhaskar Das talking about all those factors that actually makes a fashion business fail. Now today he's again with me and he's going to tell us why fashion merchandisers are called the heart of fashion business. Now for all the people who have actually not seen the previous video, let me introduce Professor Bhaskar Das. Professor Bhaskar Das has almost 20 years of experience in fashion design industry, and he also has 10 years of experience as a fashion teacher where he teaches fashion business. So now I want to welcome Professor Bhaskar Das so that he can share why does he think that fashion merchandiser is the heart of a fashion business. Sir, tell me one thing, why merchandisers are called as a profit center in a fashion industry?
So when we talk about a profit center, it talks about finances. So that means the profitability of that particular business lies with the merchandiser. Now let's come to the term called merchandiser. Merchant is somebody who trades or who deals with goods to make profit. So ultimately when a company is giving a responsibility to a merchandiser, that is the same thing that the company is expecting, that they should deal in some goods and get profit for the company. So to start with, a merchandiser has to be involved with all the value add chain, supply chain of that product, starting from the raw material ordering to the trims to the accessories which will be using to make the raw material into an end product. The merchandiser will also be responsible to ensure that the productions are happening on time. So all the timelines, the TNA, which is a time and action calendar, the WIP, which is work in progress, the discussion, the communication with the buyers, the communication with the vendors and the suppliers and the partners, all things has to be in line with the requirement of the customer or the buyer or the brand. So a merchandiser is often called a backbone of the company based on the fact that the merchandiser is the front face of the company who is dealing directly with the buyer and getting the orders from the buyer, showing the samples, getting the requirements of the buyer fulfilled into the product, chasing the production, getting the production out, getting it communicated, getting it inspected, getting the packaging done as per the buyer's need, and once a shipment is out, tracking the shipment till the buyer's doorstep and getting the payment released. So that means starting from the order coming in till the payment is done, the merchandiser is basically mastering each and every of these processes. So once that is done, the company is getting the payment done, so that becomes the profit center. That's why the merchandiser is known as a profit center, because at the end of the day he gets the order realized and get the payment released by the buyer.
There are a lot of job responsibilities that you have just spoken about a merchandiser. So all these responsibilities will always be done by one single merchandisers, or these are spread across a team of merchandisers?
So that is also something which is relevant based on the kind of accounts that you are having. So a merchandiser at his or her own pace can handle one account on his or her capacity, if the account is say up to a particular value. So let's say a merchandiser who is handling an account of say 100,000 US dollar and a lakh of piece per month can be given the responsibility of that particular account as a whole, or if the merchandiser can handle multiple accounts because of his or her ability to delegate work, can have a group of merchants working under him or her. So how it works is that the merchandiser represents the company, so he or she is the face of the company, as I said before. So the buyer, though they know that they are working with X vendor or a manufacturer, the merchandiser becomes the single point of contact both for the buyer as well as the vendors who are also supplying. So the supply chain, the value chain, everything is being handled by the merchant and his team or her team.
So when are you giving this explanation of merchandiser? Are you talking about a merchandiser in an export house, or this is a general explanation of a merchandiser?
So more or less, in an export house or in a retail environment, both the merchandisers have similar functions. However, for an export house, the merchandiser has a little bit more responsibility to handle, while in a retail environment, the responsibilities may be a little more relaxed. Now, having said that, the only main difference comes that for a retail setup, because it is an Indian market, it is more easier for the for the merchandiser to adhere to the norms of the company or norms of the brands, as he or she is part of the part of the user of that particular thing, because it is an Indian setup. While when we are talking about export, that brand, that philosophy, their standards, their quality can vary depending on the kind of brand that you are working. So that is the only difference that the merchandiser has to calculate when handling the export order vis-a-vis a retail order. The color matching, the quality norms, the testing norms, the packaging, they may vary from an export order to a domestic order. So these are some things which has to be kept in mind when a merchandiser is looking. However, overall, being in a retail setup or in an export setup, the merchandiser is considered to be a profit center.
Okay, so for becoming merchandiser, I mean, what do you think? What is the way of becoming a merchandiser? Are there any courses, or what kind of attributes people should have when they are planning to become a merchandiser?
Brilliant. So definitely, you have to acquire some sort of a skill to become a merchandiser, and of course there are various skill level certification, degrees, professional diplomas which are there in the market, and there are a long list of colleges, both private, government owned, which are there to play a role in skilling a person to become a merchandiser. However, what I feel is that to become a merchandiser, a person has to be very, very good with soft skills like communication, clear understanding, having a product knowledge, understanding the customer's need, be open to the requirements, and understanding what permutation and combinations can take place, because this is a very high demand market. It changes with small drop of trends or season change and things like that. So the merchandiser has to be hands-on. So some of the skills can be acquired, some of the skills has to come or has to be developed on your own. So the soft skilling, like the communication, your clear understanding and all those things are there as a part of the curriculum. But at the end of the day, a merchandiser has to feel really, really passionate about this industry to join this industry and be successful. So these are the things I think it's important.
Thank you so much, Bhaskar sir. I think you have pretty much established why fashion merchandisers are the heart of a fashion business. And I thank you so much for letting us know why they are important and why without them a fashion organization actually does not have an heart. So now, before I conclude this episode, let me welcome all those fashion design aspirants on my website, which is gauravmandal.com. You can avail fantastic fashion design courses on that website, and you can also buy fashion design books and at extremely discounted prices. And with that, I'll be seeing you soon again.